the interesting thing about podcasting, and I'm curious your opinion if you've like looked into the AI voice models and things like that. I sort of see a road to outsourcing your own podcast. Is that something that you've thought about?
Yeah, so not yet. I know I see what you're talking about as well, where it's like you could create your voice and you could just write things and it'll be in your voice. I don't know. The whole thing just makes me pause for a second. And I also think that we're typically very poor predictors of where the world is going and how the technology will change. For example, like in 2000, like people could imagine that Twitter was going to exist. That wasn't an unimaginable way to think. But before Twitter in 2006, no one was like, all right, let's just have status updates be the thing. That happened from Facebook. And so similarly with AI, I think that we just don't know how it will actually change everything. And so I'm just trying to remain open to all the possibilities, but not try to imagine the world that will happen before it actually does, if that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, with anything super powerful, there's going to be a billion opinions and a billion bubbles, like, with the .com bubbles or NFT bubbles or whatever the heck it is. How it actually plays out is going to be nuanced and different. And even the result will probably be different to what, people think at the time. So I'm excited. I'm very excited because the guy who I do a bunch of work with sent me a voice memo yesterday and responded. And then he was like, that wasn't me. And I was like, get the hell out of here. What do you mean it wasn't you? And he's like, here's the site, like the AI site that I recreated my voice with. It's just, I'm in the process of cloning my own voice. I feel like, and everybody's talking about how this is going to be big in content. I don't see it that way because there's an authenticity gap, and I see things being written by ChatGPT on LinkedIn and Twitter. I actually look at the person as like, oh, you took the shortcut. I'm not interested in what, I'll ask ChatGPT myself. I don't need you to ask it for me.
Yeah. In a world where AI becomes more and more prominent, we actually value the human being and the connection to the human being even more. We know that when we hit, or I know when I hit Joe Rogan's Spotify link and I'm listening to his podcast, it's actually him. That's what I'm believing. And that's what I'm thinking. And even if there was an AI version of Joe Rogan and Steve Jobs talking, I clicked it and I'm like, not as interested in it. Maybe because it's not good enough yet. But I think in a world where anyone can create anything, what we value actually is the connection to the human being. That's my hot take on the AI coming up into the world.
I definitely think properly verified personalities will only continue to rise because it's going to be like, the blockchain in the sense that you want to verify that Joe Rogan is Joe Rogan. And I think that's going to go up in value. It's like when I saw the other day that Instagram's giving out verifications to everybody. I'm like, okay, now we're going to be more valuable because that'll be the way to properly identify people. There's always going to be a way to, figure out who is who and properly authenticate that. And people love authentic personalities. So I think I'm with you.
Yeah. Well, it's so interesting. Like, I wonder if people would have realized how much of a status symbol blue check marks would have been when they first got introduced into society. Like, oh, this is going to be something that people want and that people value. Like, wonder, like, if who knew at what time, when people knew. Obviously, people realized it at different times that a blue check mark was a status symbol, but like, who was the first person to be like, yo, like, that is cool, or we should do that? This stuff fascinates me.
Yeah, it was originally started to protect like super A-list celebrities from, like bots or like people making fake accounts and saying that they were the real person, like Justin Bieber fan #1 XO. A lot of those back in the day.